All right. I'm waiting for this guy to join.
Yo.
Yo.
Wait, your boy's not joining?
Yeah, I think I made him wait too long. Oh, there we go. What's up, dude?
Hello?
Yo, what's up?
Too much. Sorry, I didn't notice that the call had started.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm sorry to make you wait. Had to kind of clear up some stuff after the coaching call.
Oh, that's no problem.
I actually originally did accidentally double book myself because of the coaching call. I think I had somebody schedule from 6 o'clock, during when the coaching call started. So I'm like, oh, I got to move my schedule around. So I blocked it out for the future. So should be good now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So for this one, I don't see that you put any notes in on the appointment thing. So
No,
is there
I
anything
had
in particular that you wanted to go over?
Oh man, I hadn't really figured out what exactly I wanted to go over.
Okay.
Because I'd been thinking about doing dribbling, but then you posted a video of you training Sir Puff. Is that what it
Yes.
was?
Yep.
And I was starting to watch that, and I was like, oh, okay. So that was a really, really good video of dribbling and stuff. That honestly, I think that's the best training anybody of
Sure.
dribbling that I've seen. So I'm probably gonna watch more of that and kind of train
Okay.
following that a little bit more. But what else I'd
Sure.
like to train, I don't know. I'm a gold. Everything needs trained.
Yeah, for sure. I would actually agree then if you're that if I don't know, no offense, if you're that low rank, I do think the same ideas apply then, getting the very minute, like Rainey said were you in the coaching call earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like for like the second half because I didn't realize what time it was.
Gotcha.
And yeah.
Yeah, so in that he also mentioned because somebody also had the question, I don't know if it was you or actually somebody else now, but somebody did ask the question of, what do I do for, I always feel like I never have ball control, right?
Right.
It's
Not using
not
boost
using boost, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, to back up my own statement on that, I actually used to have the world record dribble. I used to be the world record longest dribble, and during that
Right.
entire video, over an hour long, 99% of it, I don't even use any boost. It's all just being able to control the ball at your car pace is very important. So that's when
Right.
you'll get
And
used to a lot
that's
of that.
one thing that I'm like slowly starting to really slowly starting to get more of the feel for how to be able to keep pace with the ball and not let it roll too far forward. Like, I haven't been able to figure out how to really do anything with it yet, but
Okay.
yeah.
Is there
Like
a replay or something that we could go over, or do you want me? Otherwise, I can hop into some free play and kind of go over like a couple wide range topics if that works too.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right, I can share my screen then. I'm actually recording this session as well, so I
Yeah,
apologize.
no problem.
I'm gonna have to lower the quality in Discord. If it's too bad, I can add you. Actually, you know what? Let me add you to the party. That way you can watch it from a private match.
Okay.
Do I have you added on Rocket League?
I don't think so. It's just my
It's
Discord name.
okay. Let me add you real quick.
Did you mean to invite me there?
Yeah, I'll add you to the private match as well.
Sure. Just wanted to say something. I just got a personal best for dribbling for 3 minutes.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I told Sir Puff is just go into free play and try to dribble as long as you can.
Yeah, I think my personal best is about 7 seconds right now.
Sure.
Hey, that's a start though, bro.
Yeah, but it is
Right?
a start. Yep.
Next time, shoot for 10.
Yeah, there you go.
My game froze.
All right, let me throw us into a private match.
I like the hex, by the way.
Oh. It's wait. Did you say hexed?
Yeah, I
It's-
guess that's not hexed, is
Nope.
it?
It's actually
like cubes.
It's funny. It's this this decal is actually called tumbling blocks. So
Unbelievable.
this one is actually funny because one of my teammates gave me this decal because he got it from a drop and then he got it again. Or no, yeah, he got it from a drop and I said, "Yo, dude, can I have that?" I tend to give a lot of my friends some items if they want it or whatever. So I said, "Dude, hey, can you pay me back a little bit? I really like that decal. I'm gonna use it all the time." He said, "Sure, no problem." Gave it to me. I equip it. We start using it. Literally the next game we played, he got it as a drop. Or as a blueprint or whatever. And then he got it back. Literally the game after.
Jeez.
So I was like, okay, what is that? Like, go to Vegas, all right? So, all right, unlimited time.
I'm not able to accept the trade. It's wanting me to figure out two-step verification and stuff first.
Ah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll figure that out
Oh, God, this
in
is
a
this is
bit.
weird map. But, okay, whatever.
You want me to just spectate?
Yeah, I just say just spectate me. It doesn't really matter. The map is terrible, but whatever.
Player view. There we go.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of reiterate for a minute, if you don't mind. I'm gonna go through the whole spiel.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I tend to tell people is like, if you have trouble getting it on top of your car and like starting dribbles, is to just take ball cam off, and then just hit it in one direction, then drive after it, boost ahead, and turn around. That way, and try to line it up. That way, it's coming at you. So that way, you can try to get. All you got to do is just focus on staying underneath the ball.
Right.
Try to carry it as far down the pitch as you can. Then just keep doing that over and over. Then, then basically just try to, one goal that you could set instead of setting a time is set a distance. Try to carry it the whole length of the field without without letting it drop. So that's an option. So then after that, what you can do, if you feel comfortable, if you can kind of dribble it straight down the pitch, like the whole way pretty consistently, is you have two options then, is to just go on the side of your car, or let the ball fall on the side of your car and do circles like this. And try
So
to,
are you
try to
using
not,
drift there?
I'm not using drift at all. I've not used drift this entire time. The only time I've used drift in this match is when I went to turn after the ball, like to catch it. Or to get it on top of my car, sorry. So like the only time I use drift is to like turn around like this. But yeah, this entire time when I'm dribbling right now, I am not using drift whatsoever. So this will get you really comfortable with having the ball on the side of your car, and you can see how I'm doing these really tight turns. Then start to do figure eights. Again, try to not. Notice how I haven't used a single boost this entire time.
Right.
So are you like flicking left and right?
Yeah, I do. So you see, like, it is a little bit jerky, right? So I do tend, like, at these lower speeds, I tend to just kind of tap my my controller like left. So I'm gonna tap left. Tap
when
left,
you're
tap
focusing on being able to like keep pace with the ball and stuff, like what are you paying attention to? Are you paying attention to the circle or?
Yep. So I'll kind of back up for a second on that question then. So at first, when you're trying to pick up the ball like this, take off ball cam, then just focus on keeping all four wheels inside the circle, right? So if you're kind of off the side, you want to turn right, get underneath it. That way it keeps it on the center. So if you're on the right, if the ball is on the right side, you can see my left wheels are a little bit outside. Turn a little bit more to the right. And that's how you can kind of get the back and forth movement. And then you'll be able to keep that, in terms of going forwards and backwards too. Because then that way you'll know, like, okay, I'm too far out. Now I let the ball go behind me. And then vice versa. If you're going too fast, if you're not matching the ball speed back and forward, that's why I try to recommend people start with that. It's because, try to keep your ball in the circle, but all you should really focus on is going up and down the pitch, right? Going straight.
Right.
Keeping the ball on your car, but keeping it in the circle. So similarly, then with that same idea, we're going to actually go side to side. So once I get it on my car, I'm focusing on, you kind of want to be, it depends, right? Like on how tight you want
having your wheels like just barely on the edge.
Yep, it's fine to have them like on the side like this and just do little turns to the right. You'll see me do that. But yeah, it's fine to have your wheels on the outside. It's just you want to be somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? Then it'll actually really come down to feeling. So I'm not going to lie to you. I've actually gotten so comfortable with the ball. I call it being friends with the ball. I'm very good at pushing the ball around, you know, pushing its buttons, right? That I actually don't really look. I look basically in the middle of my monitor. I don't really look at anything in particular, to be honest with you.
Right.
I just can do it off of feeling. So
Right. Because you're not having to worry so much about controlling the ball so much as you are about getting the ball to where you need it at that point.
Exactly. Yep. It just depends. You know, in an actual game, I tend to look at my opponent, right? So if I'm dribbling, if I'm blue side, and then I'll tend to dribble straight, you know, then go left, you know, I'll dribble that way. And at some point it becomes like if you ever watched Colonel Panic's tilt module, he said that, you know, when you're tilted, you know, you really figure out which mechanics you're really good at, because those are the stuff that you do unconsciously, right, without even thinking. So even when you're tilted, you know, then really look back at that replay and you'll figure out what exactly you're really good at. So so yeah, at some point, you know, if you're applying this in game, is that once you go like this, you know, then if you get really comfortable keeping the ball on top of your car for a while, like a couple minutes at a time, then what you can start to do is once you know, try to, well, I'd say at that same time, instead of picking the ball up, you know, straight, is matching the ball speed on the side and cutting into it.
Yeah.
Then at the same time, yeah, that's when you can do your figure eights. I'd say a lot of people tend to do their dribbling when you try to, you know, while you're learning the circles, people tend to like oversteer, and you really got to focus on not like getting behind it or getting ahead of it, right? Just matching the ball pace and just turning into it. So I'll say that about dribbling. I'm going to go over something that might be a little bit too advanced for you, but I just want to kind of have this in the backlog for your mind. Okay. So for wall plays, I'm going to kind of go over what I call the universal setup. So this is going to be for air drags. It's going to be for ceiling shots. It's going to be for passes that you want to give out to your friends. It's going to be for wall shots. It's going to be for jump resets. It's going to be the same setup that you use for a lot of this stuff. And I know a lot of that might be a little too advanced for gold, despite what you want to do, you know, despite what you want to hit in game, right? You want to be able to do all this kind of stuff, right? But I'm just going to show you the setup that I do for this right now and just kind of have it in the back of your head. Is you want to, when you're dribbling in general, you want to have ball cam off, right? So you want to have car cam. So that way I know, like, okay, when I'm dribbling towards the wall, now I know, like, okay, I'm at a good angle. What I see a lot of people do when they try to learn air dribble setups is they have their angle, and then what they do is this. And I don't know if you could tell what I did there. I kind of exaggerated on purpose. Is that once you have your angle, you went behind the ball and tried to hit it towards the net.
Yeah, you want to instead follow the ball.
Yep, which is fine at some points at a higher level because, you know, if you want to speed up the play. But generally speaking, you want to actually stay, no matter what your angle is, you want to stay at it. So I'm going to stay behind this, and I'm going to just follow after it, right? I'm not turning at all. So generally speaking, you want to pick your time, and you want to just follow after it. And you can see how graceful that looks. I'm not really boosting a whole lot. It's just from a good setup. So I'm going to explain a little bit more. I'll go into some examples. So the setup itself is where you have control. You know, you're dribbling on the ground. Then you get your angle that you want on the wall. So I'm going to pick this angle here. I'm going to stay behind it, and I'm not going to turn at all. So I'm not going to do any of this. No matter how slow it is, I can still follow after it. Generally, you don't want to hit the ball. Generally, you don't want to hit the ball on the corner. So you don't want to hit the ball right here. Because the corner actually has so many different, like, small little increments of an angle change. That
you're going to pop the ball up in any number of directions.
So I recommend hitting the ball at this line. On every single map in the game, there is always this line. That means that above this line, it's always a flat surface. Whereas here, down to here, it's always going to be a different angle in between this little spot. So I always recommend hitting the ball right here or here.
Which is why it seems like every gold that I play against, when they try to get a ball that's kind of like bouncing around on that edge, it seems like that everyone misses, except for that lucky few, is because of the fact that none of them understand how understand how the ball is going to bounce around on that
Right.
corner.
Correct. Yep. So
Okay,
now that
okay.
we know that, I'm actually going to push the ball to the wall, and then I'm going to hit it on the flat surface, right? So one of the things to note here is that the farther you are away from the ball, so like if I give a lot of distance here, right, and I'm following after it, you'll tend to do this. That's when you hit it and you just clear the hell out of it, right? I can't really follow.
Right.
So the idea then is that with this setup, no matter if you're going to go for an air drag, if you're going to go for a pass or whatever, you want to keep about a car length or car length or two of distance. So I want to keep about this much space. No matter how fast or slow the ball is going, you can see I can still always follow it. So it's not always about how fast you go.
And
it's
even
about keeping
if I
control.
can't be the person doing the flipper sets and stuff, that still sets me up in a spot where I can be able to rejoin the play a lot faster than if I were to just completely clear the ball.
Yep.
And okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. So, yep. Even if you don't do that and you just do this, that is much better. Like you could score on people all day with that.
Definitely.
So with that in mind, I'm going to go a little bit more. So you can get the angle you want. Generally, what I found is that if you want to be really consistent at the setup is if you get really good at like the dribbling, right, doing side-to-side movements, you'll get really comfortable with just pushing the ball. So what you'll find is that when you dribble for this setup, you just let the ball fall on the ground. And you see how I have these constant touches.
Uh-huh.
What I do then is you let go of the gas. So I've got these constant touches right now. Then I just boost a little bit. Then I just brake there or let go of gas. It gives me that just the perfect distance.
Right.
So like I said, you want to have that 1 to 2 car length of distance. Then what you want to do is boost up the wall. Like that. And then shortly after you hit the ball, you want to jump after it. So I'm going to go over some examples of like what this will look like for different maneuvers in different games or in different like plays. So the first one is obviously the air drag. So I'm going to hit after it. Then the idea is that, yeah, you would keep your nose pointed towards the ball and you just boost after it. And the thing I want you to make out of this is that obviously the setup, again, I call it the universal setup because it's the same setup for everything. So that's my whole point with this. So obviously air dribbles for that. Even just having a two-touch play, you know, obviously you may not be able to get like an air dribble like that, but even just being able to do this. And just getting that one little touch. Obviously, I'm not going to score it, but you get the idea. It's just even having that one extra touch will put you leagues above everybody else. So the other option then, if as far as air dribbles go, is you know, like stealing shots. So instead of you know, going for the air dribble and staying close, you actually just hit it just a little bit harder. And the idea is that you'd hit it up a little higher. Then you go on the ceiling and follow it. So I'll show you what that looks like. And again, I'm not turning. See how I'm only turning just slightly. There's not a whole lot of turning involved, even when you go for a ceiling shot.
Right, because none of the angles should be changing.
Correct.
Along the whole path.
Especially if you go at this like 45-degree angle. I'm basically already going towards the ball. I only turned maybe 5 degrees that entire time. Right here, you can see I'm facing a little bit towards the mid. The only thing I did was change 5 degrees to the right, so I could kind of be a little bit more at the goal.
Right.
So that's the same setup for the a ceiling shot. The other option that is probably more viable for you right now is just passing and hitting it center to your teammates, or literally just trying to shoot it. So you get the same setup. The idea here is that you would wait a little bit and then just jump out and you tilt back. So this is the idea that it's the same idea, right? You're on a surface, and if you want to hit a ball that's high, you would jump and tilt up, right? Like jump and tilt your car back, and that'll get you away from the surface. The same idea applies to the wall. So if you're at this angle and you're going up the wall and you jump and tilt out, even a front flip like this, notice how I didn't use any boost and I'm almost to the midfield. All I did was apply the same mechanic here, that I go up the wall, jump, tilt out, and front flip. Again, no boost, and I almost landed the midfield. So if there's something you want to practice as far as like ball control or car control, I mean, as far as doing this, what I tend to tell people is try to...
What if you flip cancel, though? Like an upside down flip cancel. I find that sometimes I can get further with the upside down flip cancel.
Well, the flip cancel isn't actually going to propel you any farther. The only thing it does is cancels the animation of you, like your car turning over. So it actually doesn't make a difference there.
Gotcha.
The only part that actually what makes the difference is the actual flip.
Yep. So if anything, if you wanted to hit it and try to front flip after it, that would be an option. So what this would look like in a game is like, say my teammate Blood here is center. I would jump, tilt out, and obviously I'm a little bit more mechanical. I can kind of tend to get a little bit better of a hit here. But you would jump, flip out, and flip it center. So in something like a high-level lobby, this is what it would look like. And I can get a pass pretty much anywhere on the field. If he's a little bit, closer to me on the wall, like say we're pushing out of the orange net and he's like, a little bit closer to me, I can actually wait up the wall a little bit and tend to hit it down to him. So then I can kind of adjust, right? But the idea for the whole thing of this is that the setup is the same. Obviously at the higher level, the best option here is instead of flipping center, you can get a rebound. And I can't score. But the whole thing applies here, and even for something like a jump reset. Instead of going for the second touch, I go upside down, and I get the jump reset there. It's all the same
almost
setup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that same setup applies.
Honestly, how you're explaining this, it actually makes it way more feasibly possible than it ever seems when, like, you just watching people play.
Yep.
Like, all completely insane. But then you actually going through and actually explaining each of the little details. It definitely makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah, it may be overwhelming, right? Especially when you're watching pros, right? It's like, oh, look at what I'm doing, right? Like, I can score that. But if you really think about it, the only mechanical thing here is the car control, like the turns, right? All I did was the same exact setup I did, and I just went from the ceiling. Like, as far as actual, like, the maneuvering of the ball, it wasn't really that complicated. I did the same exact setup as I did earlier. The only difference is you're just adding a little bit of flair to the car, right?
Yeah.
So that's, all the stuff that the pros do, it's all just those very, mechanical differences with car control, right? But at the end of the day, they're really maneuvering the ball in the same pitch that you are. So yeah, there's that. So I think that's all I really got to say about the setup. A lot of people tend to get confused during this, so I'd say I'm not sure how much of this you really want to practice for right now, but
I'll start off with the dribbling, and I'll come back to.
Okay, yeah, I'd say that's a good start. Yep.
Yeah,
But again, I just want to plant the seed now.
I'm slowly getting better car control. I've been doing a lot of left strings each day. That I do at least 20 minutes of left strings each day. So, like, that's helping me get a lot of the car control that I didn't have before.
Yeah.
Still working on the dribbling. I find the car control for the dribbling to be a lot more difficult.
Sure. I find that a lot of people, like, when they lose ball control, your movements, like Rainey said, if you start boosting, right, your movements tend to be a lot bigger. So if you can really, I'm going to say, if you can really grind on this, really buckle down on this, and really trust that this minute ball movement, I mean, you can ask Demon here, anytime we 1v1, it's like I try to hold onto the ball and I try to use as little boost as possible. Actually, in the 1v1s that I did against Sir Puff, I'm not sure how much of that video you watched.
No, I haven't gotten to watch all of it.
Okay, yeah, if you watch that all the way through, or at least up until the point where we're doing 1v1s, I think I did 3 different matches against him. You'll try to pay attention to my boost and my control of my ball. I'm basically doing the same thing that I'm doing now, is just maneuvering the ball, getting myself in position for a good shot. And the only time I'm using boost is when I really need to make a play. Especially in ones.
Bruh. You need to be your fucking main coach up on this shit.
Yeah, I was watching you play against your teammate yesterday, and it seemed like you were doing this exact same stuff to him.
Yep. I honestly do the same thing. I will say, at least for ones specifically, if you can learn, like, to keep the ball in your car, I told Demon this too as well, is try to learn backflip flicks, or flicks in general, right? If you get used to keeping the ball on the side of your car, try to, as you're turning, I would say if you're comfortable with going from left to right, as you go from right here, right to left. Just
Uh-huh.
do a flip to the left. Obviously, I can't do it instantly, but I'm trying to exaggerate it, but you get the idea of, like, you can flick it. So if you get comfortable with, you know, maybe picking the ball up, instead of trying to keep it on your car, you can follow through with a flip. That'll teach you flicks really well. So if you start from the ground, and like literally the ground here, like not literally and figuratively here, if you start from the ground up and start by, you know, like I said, learning to pick the ball up on your car, learning to balance it, doing turns, then eventually you'll get comfortable enough doing those small touches that you can basically flick it anytime. So in one specifically, a backflip flick is the best because I'm not actually tossing it towards my opponent, right? So if I flick this, I'm actually handing them the ball. It's actually much easier.
Those are
for me.
shots.
Yeah, right.
Those
exactly.
That's a shot.
Yep.
So-
Whereas you can ask Demon this too. I love my backflip flicks because I not only immediately shoot it up, but I also don't flip, and I don't flip towards the play, right? I'm not committing. So even if I go for a shot like this, I can actually still follow this, right? Because I actually stopped my car's momentum. So it's actually really smart to do in one specifically.
Right. Well, and then you're getting yourself too close to a goal to where if you do miss, you end up giving them a free goal.
Right.
Could you show us how to perform the proper backflip flick?
Yeah, so in terms of like, so I'm going to build on from when I said to like focus on the circle. So if you are good at picking up the ball, you're good at carrying it. I tend to think that, you know, if your car's front wheels are on the front of the circle, that's a pretty decent time to flick. Obviously, it depends on how fast you're going, right? So if I'm going really slow, I actually don't really need to have it on the front of my car. But I tend to say, like, yeah, the front wheel's on the front circle. Maybe a little bit past it. I actually prefer to have it on the very back of my car, because that way when I flick it, it goes straight up and I can follow it. That's my preferred way, is I prefer to have, like, yeah, I prefer to have it, like, pretty straight up. I don't really tend to... I'll say the farther forward you have on the car,
More
the more
power.
the more forward. You see how it went forwards? Whereas my previous flicks, I was able to just stay down here and catch it. So, like, if I'm going forwards and I'm 1v1ing somebody, and if I keep this on the front of my car, it's in the middle of my car, it's still going to flick it forwards. So I'll watch that from the side. You can see it's in the middle of my car, but even when I backflip, it still goes forward. Whereas my preferred flick is to basically have it on your spoiler. So I'll show you what that looks like.
Oh yeah, it definitely just goes like way more straight up in the air.
Yep. And I'll hopefully show you what that looks like. You can see how it was on the very back of my car.
Right.
Obviously, I'm trying to exaggerate it, so it's not the perfect flick, but you guys get the point. The farther back you have on it, the more straight up it'll go as well. So, Demon, when you and I were 1v1ing, that's what I tend to do, is I will tend to have the ball on the very back of my car the entire time. So, at any point, all I have to do, I can just do this, and I can just flick it at any point. So, I basically dribble towards you with the ball prepared this entire time like this. So that way when I flick it, I can basically follow up at any point. So that's my secret.
Gotcha. Now I know just to never challenge you.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, right?
Now all of a sudden, he's gonna all of a sudden be a grand champ in ones just because of that.
Yeah, honestly, I'm doing my own ones placements right now too, by the way. I think I'm only 2 games in, but I will say even at, like, I think I'm champ 2 div 4 right now at 2 out of 10 games. I will say that still works really well, is the backflip flick. It
seems like a lot of people just don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you go for 50-50, you kind of have to commit, otherwise you're
gonna get
like,
dumped.
you don't even have a chance. Yeah.
So yep.
And how do you shadow defend something like that?
Right. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that for now. Obviously, I think I could talk about, like, higher level stuff, but since I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't really coached
I'm
a
a
lot of
gold.
people that are gold. So as far as like
Yeah.
me adjusting it, I'm not really used to that. I'm more used to like plats and diamonds that where they can kind of already carry the ball, where I can kind of talk about,
Yeah.
okay, now what can you do? So I'd
Yeah.
say if you get to that point, if you really grind on, you know, the very
the
slow ball control, yeah. And honestly, even every time, like, say the ball goes up, right? Like, up the wall in a game. If you are able to go for it, just jump and tilt out. And then you'll still be with a play, right? Not saying you even have to, like, hit the ball. But even
Right.
that'll just help you. So, like, even if you just go for this ball. Being able to jump and tilt your car out. I'm tilting my car down when I'm on the wall, like this. So I jump and tilt my car back. It's the same thing. So even when I'm going sideways, I jump and tilt back. It brings me out center more quickly. So even if you can do that little adjustment as far as like in your games, it'll help you stay in the plays a little bit quicker. So even if you do something like this and just jump and tilt out, you know, say you try to get to the ground a little quicker, you know, it'll help you stay with the plays more. I'm not even saying you have to do anything with it. It's just being more relevant sometimes can help.
Right.
I've never
Well,
thought
and
of
at my
anything that
level,
you're
that's,
saying.
that's something that can easily take you. That with gold, that's easily something that if you can just stay with the play better and more often, that's kind of one of those things that will just take you up to plat, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I'm already on the pathway to there. I was kind of destroying some guys last night on my ones.
Nice.
I
That's always a good
went up.
feeling.
I went up like 6 divisions last night.
Ooh, nice. Finessing them.
Yeah.
Did you have any other questions for me right away? Regarding anything I've said so far?
I definitely given me a lot of useful stuff with that car and ball control and stuff that like I've been trying to do, but I just haven't been able to figure out how exactly they're supposed to work.
Sure.
So that's been extremely helpful, and that's probably one of my biggest things is like so far the biggest thing for me I've been able to do is be really good at shooting and have fairly halfway decent game sense. So that's where I feel like I've won most of my games from.
Sure.
But this will definitely help take my mechanics.
Would you mind sending me a replay? I would hate to do this if the session if we don't go over a replay.
Okay, I will.
Even if it's really quick, I just want to see if there's anything I can point out, maybe that you're doing like really wrong or something. That way I can at least tailor this a little bit more towards you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't really have a whole lot to say right now. Anything else?
Yeah, I totally understand. I'm trying to remember where exactly I go to get
It can be anything. It can even be a win that you want or a game that you thought you played well.
Click the little plus button on Discord, and then click Files, Open Files, like upload a file.
Yeah, I gotta open up Discord on my computer. I'm currently doing it over my phone. So
gotcha.
Gotcha.
Be right.
And then I just made a tab for my demo so I can easily access it. So I don't. You go to your PC, then your documents, then my games, then you go to Rocket League, then TA games, then you click on demos.
Yep, I can post.
And then I would just grab that demo file out, so you can just quick access it.
Here. I think this is my last game. I'll throw that up.
Okay.
On there.
All right, awesome. All right, I think I got it. Let me share my screen. Again, I'm recording this at the same time, so I'm going to have to do this kind of potato mode. 720p. There we go. All right, let's do this.
Man, I've never thought of just like slowing myself down so much, Avatar, like that.
Oh, with like the very like small ball control.
Yeah.
Very, very controlled. Yeah. I find
like
that
I've always just tried to do it fast.
Yeah. It's very easy to like get, you know, to try, obviously, especially in a workshop map where you're timed, it really creates that incentive of like, okay, I should do it as fast as I can. Even I only realized that like a couple days ago of like, oh, well, instead of just beating a course, I should try to do it the most controlled I can of like slowing the ball down. Because at this point, I've done the dribble overhaul so many times that I know how to do it. I know the pathing and I know the speed. So I don't even have to think when I go through it. So like whereas if I slow myself down and I force myself to think, I'll do different lanes, I'll do different pathing and stuff like that, and it'll force me to like like play it and just keep my control.
Yeah.
So
That one. Stupid name, but yeah.
yeah, it's fine.
Oh yeah, this guy was.
Oh
one of
god,
the guy
this guy's
who was
car
trying
control
to clip
or
me.
this guy's camera settings. Holy. Okay, this guy's has like freestyler.
Yeah,
settings.
in the entire game he's trying to do that.
He's trying to clip on you.
Yeah, he's just trying to clip.
Yeah, you can tell because it's extremely close. This guy's not that great though. If I had these camera settings, I could hit triple jump resets easy. Okay, so I do like your camera settings. They're a little too high and too far away for my liking. I don't think Curtis would say that he likes your camera settings either, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so they're a little high and a little far away.
Yeah, I think so. So
Okay.
I'm gonna give you, not to say that you have to do my camera settings, but if you look at not my stats, my settings. I will post my picture of my camera settings in Discord for you. My camera settings are a little bit lower and a little bit, I don't know what your distance is, but I think a little bit lower to the ground, and the angle is a lot more like, yeah, parallel with the ground, not as high up. I will also advertise.
Oh, I do have.
Sorry,
Yeah, I do know I have bad. I do know I have bad kickoffs. So
yeah, I was gonna. You got me right as I had the first word come out. So yeah, I do have a YouTube channel with a kickoff tutorial. So I'll probably link you that as well. I'd say the first thing that you could really focus on is just flipping twice, and I'll see if this guy does it at all. On this kickoff, you typically want to grab this first boost pad. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah, I can see it.
Can you see my drawings? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so typically you want to grab this first boost pad and then flip here. Then you're supposed to land like right before the ball. Then that way you have a little bit of time to like maneuver and adjust to your opponent. Then you kind of either hit the ball left or right. I go over the same thing in my kickoff tutorial video, but this guy should be doing that. Yep, so you can see after he grabs that first boost pad, now he lands before the ball. Now, ideally, I think he would flip. This is replay analysis of this guy, apparently, but since you can see that like the midfield line is right here. Since he's on the right side of the ball, he should jump here. He should be hitting contact here, and then he should flip to the left. That way, his car and the ball are on the same side. So that would be the ideal scenario. And he just jumped a little too late. So yeah, he was just trying to clip on you. Okay,
He's just really bad.
So one of the things I did want to mention is typically for rotations, I'm just going to kind of do like a typical overview here. Typically when you're rotating back in net, you want to do like one of two things. As far as like positioning yourself for a shot, or getting ready to make a save on a shot, is when you're coming in from this side, you want to stay along parallel with the goal, and which you're doing right here. But I would say maybe avoid coming up this far, because right now you can see your field of view is only here, and the entire rest of the net is behind you. So I would say that's one option. I do like how you're parallel here, so you get one out of like 4 check marks here.
I think the reason why I decided to start moving up is because I saw him starting to lose the ball.
Yep, that's not a bad challenge, actually. I'm generalizing. I'm not saying specifically for this play yet. Yeah. Obviously, if you see he's obviously away from the ball, making a challenge here, you might be able to get the ball and the boost and then take it around the corner and go. That's an ideal play. I'm not saying really anything about that. But just in general, be careful of pushing out a little too early, because then, the entire net is behind you. So going parallel with the goal is a good option. So like say you had to make a save like this. That's good, being parallel. The other option is if you come in, is to kind of go on the near post side, do a J-turn, and face mid. Even on this side, say he actually catches this ball, right? from here,
Mm-hmm.
like say he was catching this, he could actually still bring this in midfield. And so
Right.
what you do is by doing this J turn and facing mid, you're actually still able to turn left or right here. Whereas if you come in, you do your J turn, and then you still face this way, then the entire back half of the net will still be behind you, and you still have to turn around and make a save again. So
Right.
you want to avoid doing that. So generally, if you're in the net, I'd say try to be a little bit more mid here, but also be ready to go out, right? Be ready to go if you need to. But just in general, I'd say it's a decent habit to try to either be parallel with the goal or come in on the near post and
staying further back.
Correct. Yep.
When you are parallel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So ideally, I mean, if you're in twos, right, you can have, you can actually position yourself this far in front of the net. That way you have this much covered. And then ideally your teammate would either be facing here, covering the rest of the net, or he would be coming in parallel and he would be right here covering the whole front of the net. Right? So that's in twos. In ones, obviously, it's a little like, it's obviously you're not going to be able to guard the net 100% at all times. So, like, at some point, you're going to have to push out and make a save, right? So it's all dependent on where he is. But that's just the general idea. So yeah.
Just want to say something, Avatar.
Yeah.
Your fucking tips are amazing, bro. Like,
oh, thank you.
I can always do something, like, right after you explain to me how to do it. Because now I can backflip flick pretty easily now.
Nice. So I'm going to actually apply, thank you to that. I'm actually going to apply one of the things that I mentioned earlier as far as challenging. So you remember what I said about jumping and tilting back, like whether you go off the wall or go, when you're making a challenge like this, especially when it's in the air or if it's a bouncing ball, you want to jump at this and try to catch it, because now by the time you jump, your car is still parallel with the ground, right? So let me speed this down. Whereas if you jump and tilt back, you're going to cover that. You can see by staying on the ground, even when you jump, see how like by the time you jump, your car is only going like this little bit, right? This little bit of height.
So it doesn't get even halfway good.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't get any good contact or anything.
Yep. Whereas like the little bit of height right here that you get from challenging is nothing compared to the length that you get from your car. So if anything, if you were to jump and then tilt your car back, you're able to get this much. Even by just starting on the ground here, you see this little distance by jumping. The difference between this and this just compounds, right? Because now the difference is you cover this entire side right here.
That means you have you're less likely to completely whiff the ball.
Correct.
At that point.
Yep.
Too.
So yeah.
Okay.
And then one thing I wanted to point out is actually regarding this guy. Obviously, he's trying to clip, but I just wanted to point out, even during this, notice how he waited. He got his angle. He waited for it to hit that line. So now it's on the flat side of the wall. He hit it, and then he jumps out. Now he tilts out. And again, he doesn't have very good ball control here, right? He's not like me where he's constantly air dribbling into your net. But that little bit of difference of just applying what I said earlier as far as following the ball and jumping after it, he's still staying relevant, right? He may not have like an immediate goal, but he's still a threat behind the ball.
Right.
And he's still putting another 50-50 on you. So that would say, I think that would be a good like in between me and you, starting out is this guy right here. So I think that's a pretty good example. Okay, so one of the things
another bad rotation.
No. Yeah. So I'm not even talking about rotation necessarily. It's actually what I mentioned to Sir Puff and actually to literally everybody I've coached so far is think of like there being a line between the goal and the ball. As you're rotating, you want to stay on the one side of the ball on the one side of this line wherever you are as much as possible. Because think about it, the second you go over this line, so say you go up here and you go over this line, well now look where he has this entire side of the field to go, and it's all because you just passed this one line. So the ideal option, so like say I'm gonna kind of put this in an example. So like we have this line, say you're right here, right, and you're dropping back. You can either at any point, as long as you're on this side, you're dropping back, you can either turn and challenge here early at any point, or you come back and you make like a goal line save, or you push it out this way, right? Those are your two options. You can, but the idea being that you can make that determination whenever you want. It's still the same move and it's still the same positioning, and the idea is that you're covering the entire net in front of you, right?
Right.
So,
And you have a lot more time to be able to decide when it's best to be able to attack.
Absolutely. So, yeah, in general, you want to stay on this one side. So, I think now, because you cross
this
that
is where
line,
he's gonna.
you can see now that right half is behind you. It's very subtle because you're still facing the play, but you can see you're still facing a little bit to our left side now.
Yep. Yeah, and you can tell by the fact that I'm pretty sure he's about to score on me.
Yeah. Yep. And you can see that even though it wasn't that great, he still got it behind you, all because of that positioning. So, honestly, yeah, you have 30 boost here. I'd say, just in general, like when it wouldn't be a bad thing at this point to pick up this boost pad, pick up this boost pad, pick up this boost pad, and then turn here, just picking up pads and just staying relevant with the play, because the second you drop, this ball is actually going this way. So now, like, the distance between you and
I could have definitely pushed that.
Yep. I'm not even saying just push the ball, but like I'm saying just stay relevant, stay a little bit closer, do a little turn like that, grab the boost pads, because now I'm saying, like, even up until this point now, you can still pick up pads, you can still push out forward, because he's not even a threat right now. He's not even pushing the ball towards you. He's not doing anything. So you can still push out on this.
Right.
But up until now, because this entire time you haven't pushed out, you're letting him set up his dribble. Right. And again, I'm going to reiterate, just to kind of drill it a little bit here.
Yeah, I definitely just crossed that line.
There's that line again. Yep. Sorry, I'm just going to draw it just for the sake of everybody else who might watch this in the future. Again, there's that line. You were like this, and then you came back across. So now, if you wanted to make a save in this time, you actually have to turn back, do a little loop, and make a save there, just to cover like this 30% of the net. Whereas if you just stayed where you were, or even literally just doing your own little like U-turn and staying facing the play near the mid post, that would also be an option. Because then no matter when he pushes it, all you got to do is just drive forward at the right time.
Great.
Remember what I said about staying parallel? That's an option.
Right.
So that's something there. Yeah, this guy's not good at kickoffs either, actually. Holy. Yeah, obviously I think that challenge was a little bit risky, because at this point he's inching towards it. He's closer to you. So if he just flips into this is going to go past you right here.
Right.
He could flip into this right now and it would be an open net. But like I said, he's not the best either.
Yeah.
He's trying to coax or pinch it. I like the idea. I like the attempt. I respect it. Actually, for what it's worth, I gotta say, bringing it across your net is actually not that bad of an idea if you know that you can get it past him. Nice cut there. And actually, so this is one thing that I'd say, Demon, that you do a lot, is you're going fast. So the ideal play here would be that he slows down, right? Because now this goal, you can basically cut back at any point and just get this back half of the net, right? So that's exactly what you did. So now as he goes, he should basically break right here behind the ball, or break like at this point right here. So he goes here.
Right.
Then he knows that the entire net is in front of him, and it's always literally in front of him. So he doesn't have to worry about turning. He doesn't have to worry about anything. He can just make a save and, push it across the net. So don't be afraid to try to make goal line saves sometimes. If you have to, if you get really comfortable being parallel with the goal and being able to make saves like across the net, that is the safest place you can be, because then if the net is in front, or if the ball is in your corner, then imagine if you can follow it, along with the ball that you also push out. Then you can grab boost. Then you can go around the corner and, you know, make a play downfield. And then you have boost and ball possession. So
Right.
there's a lot of good things that can come from you being able to make a goal line save to your corner. It's probably the best thing that can happen. But yeah, the fact that he actually crossed this line and he was trying to progress the play a little bit too much. You can see it's at the point when you're shooting, but the same idea applies that he went too far. Now the fact that he's
Right. That line got
Yep.
that line got cut across.
Yep. So, all right. I don't think I'll point that out. I'll probably just point it out if it happens again, but I don't think I'll have to drill that into anybody's heads anymore. I think you get the idea. There you go. Actually, that's a perfect example of what to do. See how you braked there? You're waiting for it. The entire net is still in front of you.
Right.
There you go. More of a mechanical thing. You actually don't even need to brake here, or to flip here, sorry. You actually had a perfect idea, a perfect position for a catch. It was coming in on your front right corner, and this will actually get you more comfortable when you do those dribble trainings, is being able to have it on your car. You'll know, like, when the car, if you catch it on the corner like this, especially like how low it is on the ground, you know that this, I know that this will be a good save and a good catch. If you don't do anything, you just sit there. You're in a perfect spot to catch it. So I think you flipping here is obviously you're like, oh shit, I want to make sure this does not go into my goal at all. So flipping here is, I guess, fine. He's obviously not able to score off of it, but ideally you would just catch it.
Right.
So I do like the fact that you were able to follow it, though. It's huge. And again, he crossed that line again there when he tried to cut in.
Yeah, I'm noticing that's basically every single time that I think over the course of this entire game, I do end up winning, but that's mostly because he's trying to clip the entire time.
Sure.
But he, I notice it's basically every time that one of us ends up, you know, crossing over that line that we shouldn't.
Yep. As far, actually, you know what? I don't mind you backing up here. I'd say maybe it might look like he's gonna challenge here, so I'd say maybe start pumping the gas and like fake challenge, right? Because if he actually goes for this, look how far off to the side you are. Just to reiterate here, like the goal is actually still, he can still hit
a long ways away.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying like it's to your left.
Oh.
Right. So like you're backing up here. I'll look at this maybe from a top-down view. You're not actually making a challenge on this ball. You see how you're backing up?
Right.
Look where the goal is. It's actually to your left. The only way you're saving this if he shoots this now is to flip left or to drive left. But since you back up, now look, the ball is basically, he's got free clearance to hit this into your net.
And I think
if he's quick enough.
Sounds like it's probably what he does.
Right. So I'd say maybe if anything, I don't mind you backing up here, but maybe just pump the gas and just do a fake challenge, right, and see what he's going to do. Because now you backed up, maybe start going forwards, going with the ball. And then you can always back up again, right? But you don't want to be left in a position where you just like back up and then he just clears it over you and then he gets a free goal. So, all right, I'll kind of speed things up here. I'm not going to try to nitpick every little thing. Decent kickoff. Nicely done. I will say for kickoffs, if there's one thing that I'd say you could focus on is pick up that last boost pad here and just jump right away and try to hit the middle of the ball. So like you hit it, but you see how far off to the side you hit the ball and it always just pinches out. Try to hit like the middle, like literally the middle of the ball and then flip left or right. Ideally, like I said in my kickoff tutorial, you would either hit it on the left side of the ball and then flip right so that way your car goes along with it to either side, right? So ideally you'd hit it like just a little bit off to the side and you'd flip so that way your car goes along on the same side. So just an FYI. If you don't work on kickoffs totally, I'd say maybe just focus on hitting, getting a little bit better hits on the ball. Ooh, I like that. That's really good. I don't mind that you don't score here. That's whatever. I like the idea, dude. This is actually 5-head. So, yeah, you're hitting, you're putting pressure on, but you're not committing to the play. If you flip into that, then you're screwed.
Oh, yeah.
So I really like that. That's probably the smartest play you've done this entire game, to be honest. Smartest thing you've done, I'd say, in this entire game. Yeah, I'd say maybe take the mid boost here. You can take the mid boost. I would maybe expect him to get the wall, the air dribble. Again, you can take this boost. You do. But I'd say maybe be a little more direct about it. If you know he's likes the walls and stuff like that, just don't even let him. Just take the boost, and there you go. Honestly, you could even still just drive towards his corner boost starve him. Grab the mid boost. I do like the fact that you're not always focused on boost, but I think you haven't really gone for boost like a whole lot. That I think you could probably look at it a little bit more. Which might be weird to say. I don't know if anybody's ever said that.
Totally.
I don't know if anybody's ever said that in the history of Rocket League, but go for the boost sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's one of those things where it's for me, it's trying to decide, you know, the one in 10 times where it is actually important to go boost over ball.
Yeah. Like, I will say I commend you 100% on being able to focus on the ball. That is something that not a lot of people have, right? Even GCs, even myself, I go monkey mode. You can ask Demon. But yeah, I mean, I'd say you play really well here. You can focus on stealing his boost a little bit more.
Yeah. Right there, I'd actually meant to steal his boost. I remember that, but then I just totally missed that, and I missed the ball. So I was like, I like tried splitting my focus in 2 different ways, and I didn't get either of them. And then I was like, oh, I'm SOL now.
Sure. Yeah. Again, one last time, crossing that line. If you break here, you did the same exact thing that he did earlier, and you got scored on in the same exact fashion, pretty much.
Yes.
You pushed up a little too early. Whereas, if you actually look, the ball was actually bouncing by the time you hit it. So you don't even technically need to jump here. As if you just kind of creep up. If you know it's going to land like in that side, then you just, you creep up a little bit, you slow down. Then really the ideal scenario here is that, you go parallel with the goal, and then you just front flip. That way you get the ball and the boost, and you can go around the corner and make a play. Then this is pretty much a guaranteed goal. I guarantee it if you're good enough at like getting it out away from the corner. Then
especially how much he has to commit to be able to perform that.
Yep, and look, he's landing in your goal upside down. Yeah, if you can get a front flip and just clear this towards the corner and get it out of the corner, then all you got to do is just drive it in.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just going to one last time reiterate from this view. Yep.
Yeah.
Damn, did you guys go to like a 5-minute overtime? Look at the difference between 4 minutes, 2-minute overtime, I guess. Or unless. Oh no, I'm thinking 4 minutes on the timer to 6.5. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, you did go to overtime.
Yeah, we do go to overtime because I score this goal here, and then. I
like how patient you are here. You're just kind of waiting. And again, I don't know what the hell he was doing, but I will say that is the same thing, right? He's not even channeling, but you basically force the play, that you basically force that line. So that way, even if he's facing the play, all you gotta do is just go behind him.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been trying to work on, because like actually cuts is probably about one of the things I actually am halfway decent at.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Man, I totally just lost everything that I was about to say.
It's all good. Yeah. Sorry, what was that, Demon?
I was trying to help him remember by saying pineapples and bananas. Oh. Because supposedly saying those can help you remember things, but I don't know how true that is.
Maybe if you're hungry. Yeah. Okay, so more of a mechanical thing here, but obviously, like when you're trying to go for a goal like this, right? You're like, oh, well, the net is literally like sideways to you, right? So your idea is to just go in and score it. But when you're this close to the wall, you have to realize that, yes, it's going towards the ball. But the distance that you create here between you and the ball is way greater than you think. So the ideal scenario here is that you just turn and you drive at the ball. You basically drive so that way by the time you meet it, you'll be able to meet it right here and you can drive it straight in this way. It'll be a tighter angle, but I think
but you'll have more likelihood of
matters.
Actually getting a shot.
Yep, yeah, because then you can drive and you'll stay behind it. That way, even if he comes, it's more of a 50-50, and it's basically in his net, right? So that's better.
Yeah, well, and chances are, if he actually does end up meeting up with the ball, he's probably going to accidentally hit the ball in rather than...
Yep. So, yeah, whereas if he comes here, now look, if you're coming straight on and he's coming from this side, he's more likely to push it out this way, which was what happened.
Right.
Whereas if you just come in, turn in, then he's got to come in from the side and get behind the ball. So by the time it goes like this, it's probably just going to be in his net. So I'd say I just wanted to point out the main thing. It's not necessarily bad that you turn and you try to do this. I just wanted to point out that by doing this, the main thing is the distance from the play, right? This line here, the distance, is what allows him to get back in time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think maybe if you stuck with the play a little bit closer here, if you just drove straight, that could have been a goal.
Yeah, I don't even know if I was actually in line to be able to hit the ball with the fact that I went all the way around.
Yeah. Dang, that's actually a really good save.
I legitimately barely made that save.
Woo! Holy smokes. I want to see that from his perspective. He's like, I got this shit. Nope. Yeah, that was surprising. I will say, so from this point, this should have been a goal, right? So he had it. All he's got to do is just drive it straight in. But he went on the side, and this dude's camera settings are awful. You can see that he got on the side of the ball, and he hits it more center. He doesn't really need to do that, and this would be part of, like, again, reiterating from the very first thing is, like, the very minute ball control. If he got on the side of it, he doesn't even need to get it on top of his car. He's just got to nudge it just a little bit, right? So he's just got to nudge it from here, or, well, from here to here. Only that, like, 5-degree angle, 10 degrees, right? Whereas now that he's getting on the side of it, he's just got to turn his car just a little bit, just nudge it just a little bit just to get that in. But because he has that distance and he doesn't really have that ball control that we should start with, he whacks it way towards you.
Right.
And you can see how far he pushes it over. Whereas all he's got to do is just nudge it just a little bit, and it's a guaranteed goal.
It's almost like he was panicking.
Yeah.
To try and get that ball in.
But I'm just kind of pointing it out because because it's what we talked about in the beginning here. Not bad. I will say I'm actually pretty surprised that, like, a lot of these, like, touches here, like this one, you actually single jump, which is actually really great because it actually allows you to follow up, right? Like, the second you flip, you're going into the wall, you're committing, and it takes you longer to recover. So
I've found that happen to me way too many times. So I'm actually more hesitant to do the dodge and flip forward because of that. Because I just find myself losing control of the car fairly often.
Right.
So I've kind of gotten more comfortable with the trying to not go end over end, but, like, a lot of times when I end up jumping, I'll end up either doing kind of a spiral spinning jump.
Right.
I know that sometimes it kind of screws me over, though.
I'd say I noticed you don't know how to do a half flip. That could be something that you could work on as well.
I do know how. I'm just not super duper comfortable with it.
Okay.
Like, I do have the keybinds for it on my controller.
Okay. I have a tutorial on that too.
Yeah.
It's one of my most popular, so I'd say check that out. I've got my controller overlay and everything too. I'll probably give you links to that as well.
My keybinds are actually one of the good things that came from Diabetic Delight.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I actually, about the next day after I joined.
Yeah.
All right, pimps, I'm back.
All right. Again, one last time, this is the end of the replay. I just wanted to point out that you forced him crossing the net, the line here.
Yes.
Boom. Now the entire net is behind him. Just to reiterate, because that has come up literally every coaching session I've done so far in the server. Nice boost steal, finally. And you got it when it counted, baby. Nice job. Bang, bang, bang. There you go. Boost steal to win it. Steal their boost maybe a little bit more. I can't believe anybody has ever said that in Rocket League ever. But yeah, maybe go for boost a little bit more sometimes.
I guess I'm a little too cautious.
I don't know. Yeah, which is not a bad thing. But maybe at least in this gameplay, I'm not saying to do it all the time, right? Don't take that wrong way. But I do notice that, like, do you at least recognize there are times I feel like when, you know, he's not a threat, you have boost, you can steal his corner boost, and, you know, the ball is still going to be in his corner. You can still, you know, maybe dry him out a little bit. So, yeah.
I'm kind of glad that you ended up seeing this one, because I'm pretty sure that this was probably my worst gameplay that I had last night.
Gotcha.
So I'm actually kind of glad that I ended up actually showing this to you, because, you know, I was getting tired, and it was right before I went to bed.
Sure.
So kind of glad that I ended up having it be that one that you got to watch and review.
Awesome. Did you have any questions about the replay or anything I said during that at all?
No, you did a really good job of explaining yourself and explaining what I did right and what I did wrong.
Awesome.
At different times, I was really happy with that. I'm looking forward to being able to take everything that you taught me, and being able to apply it. And I'm pretty sure if I took everything that you told me, I'm probably gonna become a platinum.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to see.
In the next couple of days.
Okay,
honestly.
So I actually, I also posted in the Discord. It looks like it's a video, but it should take you to my playlist. It's actually my Rocket League tutorials playlist as well. So I've got like my half flip tutorial in there. I've got a 45-degree tutorial, flick tutorial. I've got my kickoff tutorial, like air drags. So check all that out.
That's what you look like, bro?
Yeah, dude, I'm sexy. What do you mean?
That's no, I did not say it like that. I'm like that's not what I pictured you like.
Yeah, compared to my voice. It's always interesting, right? Because, you know, I talk to a bunch of people on Discord, and, you know, even for my job, I do help desk stuff. So I talk to people on the phone all day. So I always like to imagine what people look like over the phone, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah. All right. If you don't have anything else, I'm actually going to go hop into my next training session here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, man. Yeah, feel free to book another one. If you ever have any questions, feel free to message me anytime.
Yeah.
I can always answer any questions you have.
I'm gonna take the next few days and work on the things that you taught me here, and then I'll probably I'll get back with you on being able to
Awesome.
show you how I've progressed and see where else you feel like I can.
Yeah, for sure. And if you have any clips or anything, dude, send that shit to me, because I'd love to see, like, when people like are like, oh, dude, I got this dribbling down, like, you know, I got a flick on a guy or whatever, you know. I love to see that stuff.
I'm just barely starting to figure out how to do clipping and stuff. I just learned how to be able to record my screen.
Gotcha.
For being able to do that. It's just it totally takes it. Huh?
Do you know about the app GIF Your Game?
Yes, I've heard about. I haven't started being able to use it yet, but yeah.
That would be one to check out. That's more for clipping like goals and stuff like that. People use it like I use it to clip like freestyle goals and stuff like that. So. That's more like when you actually get like cool like shots and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah. All right, man. Thanks for your
time. I will definitely do that.
It.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna head into the next one. I'll see you around. Take it easy.
Okay. You too. Bye.
Bye.